पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So reading from 11th canto, chapter 13, text 8 onwards. Up to 8 we read yesterday, but still we will repeat today. Uddhava said, "My dear Krishna, generally human beings know that material life brings great future unhappiness, and still they try to enjoy material life. My dear Lord, how can one in knowledge act just like a dog, an ass, or a goat?" So, in response to that question, Krishna is replying. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhava, a person bereft of intelligence first falsely identifies himself with material body and mind. When such false knowledge arises within one's consciousness, material passion, the cause of great suffering, provides the mind, which by nature is situated in goodness. Then the mind, contaminated by passion, becomes absorbed in making and changing many plans for material advancement. Thus, by constantly thinking of the modes of material nature, a foolish person is afflicted with unbearable material desires." So this is how a living entity becomes entangled in the material nature. So, mind is coming from mode of goodness. The demigods and the mind are coming or is generated from the mode of goodness. Like we have seen how the spiritual energy gradually affects the material nature, Mahatattva, and the Mahatattva is the sum total of the material creation, the sum total of the elements, material elements, that is gradually transforming into this material manifestation or material conditioning of an individual soul. So I'll repeat that. It's a very important point actually. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhava, a person bereft of intelligence falsely first identifies himself with the material body and mind." Bereft of intelligence. Proper intelligence has the ability to discriminate and figure out what should be done and what should not be done. But when one becomes bereft of intelligence, when one loses his intelligence, then he begins to identify himself with the body, material body and mind. When such false knowledge arises within one's consciousness, material passion, the cause of great suffering, provides the mind, which by nature is situated in goodness. Mind should be situated in goodness. But due to lack of intelligence, when one begins to identify himself with the body, then the passion becomes prominent. And it is due to the passion that one gets involved in the material activities. Passion makes one act. It is due to the mode of passion that one gets the urge to act or the impetus to act. If the mind, yesterday we discussed, and the mind is in mode of goodness, then one actually transcends the passion and ignorance. But when one loses his intelligence and begins to identify himself with the body, then mind become affected by passion. All material activities are in the mode of passion. Passion. The word itself actually means that. Identifying oneself with the body and trying to enjoy in this material nature. And due to that, passion caused suffering. Passionate endeavors will always lead to suffering. Therefore, an intelligent person should become situated in the mode of goodness. The cause of great suffering, the passion, the cause of great suffering pervades the mind, which by nature is situated in goodness. Then the mind, contaminated by passion, becomes absorbed in making and changing many plans for material advancement. Thus, by constantly thinking of the modes of material nature, a foolish person is afflicted with unbearable material desires. So this is the real knowledge. Unless we were told, we would never have known that. And that's why the scriptures are so important. Let's read the purport also. It's a very important verse. Those who are trying to enjoy material sense gratification are not actually intelligent. Those who are trying to enjoy material sense gratification are not actually intelligent, although they consider themselves most intelligent. Although such foolish persons themselves criticize the miseries of material life in innumerable books, songs, newspapers, television programs, civic committees, etc., they cannot desist from material life for a single moment. The process by which one is helplessly bound in illusion is clearly described here. A materialistic person is always thinking, oh, what a beautiful house, I wish you could buy it. Or what a beautiful woman, I wish I could touch her. Or what a powerful position, I wish I could occupy it, and so on. The words sankalpa, sabikalpaha indicate that a materialist is always making new plans or modifying his old plans to increase his material enjoyment. Although in his center moments he admits that material life is full of suffering, the mind is created from the mode of goodness as described in Sankhya philosophy. And the natural peaceful situation of the mind is pure love for Krishna, in which there is no mental disturbance, disappointment, or confusion. Artificial, the mind is dragged down to a lower platform of passion and ignorance, and thus one is never satisfied. One who does not control the material senses comes under the control of material desires and is thus bewildered by the strong waves of mode of passion. Such a person executes material activities, although clearly seeing that the result will be future unhappiness. So, now one question then arises, then what should one do? We are in the material nature. We are influenced by the modes of material nature. Most of us are actually revolving in the mode of passion and ignorance. So, what to do? Yes, here Krishna is telling to become situated in the mode of goodness. But then again, also to become involved in the mode of goodness is difficult. Goodness actually leads to knowledge and renunciation. Now, our solution is, yes, act in the mode of passion for Krishna. That is what Krishna consciousness is. We are not rejecting passion. There are two types of people. Those who are in the mode of goodness, what they'll do generally, they'll love a situation like this lockdown. Sit at one place and don't do anything. Don't do anything also can be of two types. One is don't do anything in the mode of ignorance, or don't do anything in the mode of goodness. We are not talking about not to do anything in the mode of ignorance. That is not to be considered at all, because everyone is experiencing that every day. But what does a person who is in the mode of goodness do? He meditates. Sits at one place, they sit at one place and meditate. So you can see for them this situation in lockdown or self-quarantine is the same thing for them. They're just... But most of us are, we are seeing, we are tired of being in these conditions, in this lockdown situation, isn't it? So that's our nature. We like to act in mode of passion. So this tendency is there. But the answer is, yes, use the passion for Krishna. Use the passion for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada had shown that. Srila Prabhupada used these young American boys. They're full of passion, and passion is desiring to do things. The body is always wanting to do something. Prabhupada used their passion to spread Krishna consciousness. Yes, use your passion. Go to different countries and set up Krishna consciousness. Go out, distribute books. So Prabhupada used, dovetailed the mode of passion. But the thing is, one thing about mode of passion, it should be controlled, it should be guided. You allow the mode of passion to function by itself, there'll be trouble. Example, a horse. You see, passion is material power. Passion, you can say. A horse is very powerful. And when the horse is on its own, what does it do? Jumps around, runs. But when the horse is controlled, then the horse can be so useful. His passion is being used. His power, his energy is being used. But in order to use that, there is a need for control. So that's the important thing. Passion needs to be controlled. If the passion is on its own, uncontrolled passion can be destructive. So what did we learn? Mind should be in mode of goodness. Then if the mind is in mode of goodness, then the consciousness can be shifted from passion and ignorance to goodness and be engaged in religious activities or pious activities. And then it transcends the mode of material nature and come to the pure goodness of Krishna consciousness. And when the intelligence is situated in Krishna consciousness, which is called Buddhi Yoga, then the intelligence can, then the passion can be used in the service of Krishna. And the point is, passion needs to be controlled. If the passion is not controlled, or rather put it this way, the controlled passion can be productive in Krishna consciousness. Whereas uncontrolled passion can be destructive. Although the intelligence of a learned person may be bewildered by the modes of passion and ignorance, he should again carefully bring the mind under control by clearly seeing the contamination of the mode of nature. He does not become attached. So, a learned person, what he should do, sometimes a learned person's intelligence also can become bewildered by the mode of passion and ignorance. When that happens, he should bring the mind under control. Now, what brings the mind under control? Intelligence. And also the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. By clearly seeing the contamination of the modes of nature, he does not become attached. A person should be attractive and grave and never lazy and morose. Mastering the yoga procedures of breathing and sitting properly, one should practice fixing the mind on me at dawn, noon, and sunset, and thus gradually the mind should be completely absorbed in me. So, this is the practice in Santaras. Krishna is giving the direction. A person should be attentive and grave and never lazy or morose. Mastering the yoga procedures of breathing and sitting properly, one should practice fixing the mind on me at dawn, noon, and sunset. These are the 3 times one should meditate. And thus, gradually the mind should be completely absorbed in me. The actual yoga system as taught by my devotees, headed by Sanat Kumar, is simply this: having withdrawn the mind from all other objects, one should directly and appropriately absorb it in me. That is the system of yoga. Dhyana, but before dhyana is pratyahar. Pratyahar, withdrawal. The senses now withdrawn from the objects of the senses. Unless that is done, one cannot meditate. Otherwise, what will happen? One may sit down and do all this breathing and asana and everything, but the mind will be always meditating on the objects of sense gratification. Therefore, dhyan or before the prerequisite for dhyan is pratyahar. And when those senses had been withdrawn from the senses, meaning the consciousness is not going out towards the objects of the senses or the material objects of the material nature, they are withdrawn completely. Pratyahar, then dhyan, meditation. And Krishna is saying the practice of this meditation will eventually one become completely fixed in samadhi. Mind will be fixed. But then Uddhava again said, "My dear Krishna, at what time and in what form did you instruct the science of yoga to Sanaka and his brothers? I now desire to know about these things." So I will leave up to this. So, do you all have intelligence? Yeah? Yes, I'm sure you all have intelligence. So what should you do with your intelligence? Engage in Krishna service and not be involved in sense gratification. That is the real purpose of intelligence. And then one will become peaceful in heart. By rendering service to Krishna, we actually enjoy. That is our enjoyment, and that's why also it is important that one happily executes his devotional service. And it's a responsibility of the leaders to engage their followers according to their propensity. So I'll also request those who are in management, always make it a point to see that everyone is happily engaged. If someone is not happy, then find out what is. There may be two reasons. One is he is not being engaged according to his propensity, meaning he is not engaged according to the way he wants to do certain thing spontaneously. Or he is in total maya. He is not fit to be in an ashram. So if a person is so much into sense gratification, then let him go and suffer. Like, it's better than let them go and suffer and then come back and become fixed up. Otherwise, what will happen? He'll never become satisfied. His mind will always be there. And it's actually unfortunate sometimes when you see that devotees, in spite of being in an ashram, being a brahmachari, still wants to get married. They don't know how miserable they are going to be. To get married means you have to maintain your family. That means you have to earn your livelihood. You have to earn your living. The temple may maintain some householders only for the time being. Most of the time temples won't be able to maintain the householders. So don't get married thinking that the temple is going to maintain you. If you want to get married, then make sure that you have the means to maintain your family. And mind you, the family will keep on growing. That means you have to make more and more money. And then when you come to a situation like this, when lockdown, everything is closed. And if you lose your job, what's going to happen? Like, just consider, a man has wife and a few children, and he doesn't have a job. That means he doesn't have a source of income. Consider the situation. Therefore, those who have joined Krishna consciousness and young, I always tell them what Prabhupada actually told me. Just offer this life to Krishna. You have come to Krishna consciousness, you found Krishna consciousness, just offer this life to Krishna. And then see what happens. And why can't we offer, after being a brahmachari or being in the ashram, why can't we maintain, why can't we remain brahmacharis and want to get married? Simple answer is sex desire. Sex desire. Now here you use your intelligence. What is your sex desire? Just a momentary pleasure for a... and then you are stuck forever. Just have sex, you'll have a child. You have a child means now you have to maintain your wife and your children. And you're not going to be satisfied having sex only once. Again and again and again you want to have sex, and again and again and again you'll be having children. So those who have joined Krishna consciousness as a brahmachari, I will say just stay in brahmachari. Those who are not in brahmachari life, those who are in family life, they can afford to do that. They have some way to maintain themselves. But then again, you know, like, it is ultimately it's going to be miserable. Especially when situations like that. Sometimes, you know, I used to picture that, you know, like, you see those countries, like Iraq, Syria, and Palestine, they were a very opulent country actually. Many of them are very wealthy, and they had big palatial buildings, and then what happened? The crisis in Middle East, you know, whatever the reason is, let's not get into that. But then what happened? In one side, they are kind of driven by the terrorists. The terrorists are attacking their own people. The Muslims are killing the Muslims. Their thing is, if you don't join us, we'll kill you. Now these people, first of all, they have been affected by America's involvement in those countries. They got, first of all, they've been ravaged by wars, and now they're terrorized by the terrorist groups, their own people. And millions of them left everything, and they're seeking asylum from country to country. The next country they could go to was Turkey. Turkey said, no way. We can't give you asylum. We can let you pass. The next country is Greece. We are not rich enough to give you asylum. And then they started to go to Italy, Austria, Germany, Switzerland. And you know, they're beggars. And now we also, now due to this COVID epidemic, pandemic, we don't know what's going to happen to the world. We don't know how many people are going to lose their jobs, how many businesses are going to close down. Especially in the third world countries, even the first world countries, we don't really know what's going to happen to Germany and France. And Germany is always trying to bail out Germany and France got together to bail out the poorer countries in the European community. But for how long? So, all these are very wealthy countries. But now they're going to face the difficulty. But where will they go? And there will be hunger, there will be violence. Hunger will naturally lead to violence. When people don't have food, they'll start to steal. They'll start to rob. They'll start to kill. See, as it is difficult to take care of us individually. What to speak of take care of a big family? And what to speak of those who have old parents and elderly members of the family? Anyway, of course, we know the ultimate solution is to be Krishna conscious, to surrender ourselves to Krishna. That's the ultimate solution. So let's prepare ourselves for that. Just let's surrender to Krishna. And I can see that this lockdown has done one good thing. During these 2.5 months, devotees have become more serious about Krishna consciousness. Isn't it? It's forcing us to become more Krishna conscious. And as the situation becomes more and more critical, I think devotees will become more and more Krishna conscious. When the external situation becomes difficult, then we will naturally become Krishna conscious. Meaning we'll naturally depend upon Krishna. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so interactive online spiritual quiz result. Total participants 101 and top 5 winners. In the 5th position with 91% accuracy, Shantushta Govinda Das from Bangalore. In the 4th position, also with 91% accuracy, also from Bangalore, is Vasudev Sutta Das. In 3rd position, from Canada, Shukanya Gopika Dasi with 91% accuracy. Then in 2nd position, Mithiladhish Das with 91% accuracy from Bangalore. And in 1st position, with 100% accuracy, where is Chitta Hari Krishna Das? From Ujjain. Thank you. So, the question is from Lavanyamai Radhika Dasi, New York. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet in devotional service. You are mentioning that by primarily practicing, one can rise to the stage of spontaneous emotions. Here, what kind of emotions is explained, if you can elaborate? This emotion is the emotion that comes from love for Krishna. Emotion is the heart becomes afflicted or affected. That is what is emotion. The feelings of the heart that is coming from love for, but this emotion is for Krishna, which is called bhava. So next question is from Karunika Gopika Dasi from Chicago. Question: in material world, people think they can earn and stay healthy and wealthy. If this is passion, then how this donation works? Isn't it good to earn and give in temple? If we work more, then we can give more. If we work more, then we can give more. Right? So is it good intention? Please clarify the limits. Thank you. Yes, that's what I mentioned, that people are, generally, we all are in mode of passion. Very few are actually in mode of goodness. Those who are situated in goodness, they'll just spend their time in meditating on Krishna or cultivating their intellectual abilities. But passion leads to sense gratification when the passion is misdirected. But if the passion is properly directed, then the passion can be engaged in serving Krishna. And as we were saying, somebody can run a business, make a lot of money, and give it to Krishna. That will be wonderful. But most of the time you'll find those who are working in the mode of passion, they don't want to give so much to Krishna. Some devotees give, naturally. But most of the people who are working in passion, making money, how many of them are actually giving? And if they give for their name and fame, or to patronize their own people. Like Bill Gates is known to be very, very generous. He gives millions of dollars. But to whom? His own people. And for the sake of their own name and fame. Maybe they are not so much after name and fame as such. But the thing is that my point is, how many people are actually giving to Krishna? Anyway, we are not worried about that because we know that Krishna will give. If our intention is pure, then yes, Krishna will give, because all the wealth is controlled by Lakshmi Devi. So when she sees that we are trying to serve Krishna, she will give. Therefore, on our part, we are not so concerned about people making their money and giving. You see, another consideration is Krishna doesn't want to take anyone's money. Krishna is concerned whose money he will take. And those who are qualified, they only will be able to give to Krishna. Anyway, your point is fine, your point is good. Like those who are in the mode of passion, let them work hard and make money and give it to Krishna conscious purpose. And as you asked, what is to clarify the limits? There is no limit to it. One limit has been established by Srila Rupa Goswami. For a householder, should give 50%. So you can consider that to be the limit. But ultimately there is no limit. The more you give to Krishna, better it is for you. Now, next question is from Radhikeshwari Dasi from Mumbai. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, what should one do when someone like me has no desire at all to do something for Krishna or for spiritual master? Guru Maharaj, how can I come out of this ignorance to go in passion for Krishna? Anyway, thank you for humbly admitting it. So, anyway, Radhikeshwari, I can tell you, I can assure you that yes, you have done so much for Krishna. I know that, I am witness of that. So don't worry about it. Don't think that you are not desiring to do something for Krishna and your spiritual master. So next question is Vaikuntha Das from Surat. Dandavat Pranam Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. If a married couple comes to know this statement of Srila Prabhupada, just surrender your life to Krishna, then how in a best way he can do in Grihastha ashram? Well, how can, you see, like everybody can render service to Krishna. Ultimately everybody should, whether one is a brahmachari, grihastha or banaprastha or sannyasi. Now grihasthas will do it in a certain way, brahmacharis will do in a certain way, sannyasis will do in a certain way. So as in the Uddhava Gita, Krishna is pointing out, the brahmachari's business is to serve the spiritual master. Householder's business is to maintain his society and take care of the entire, maintain his family and take care of the entire society. Because all three ashrams are depending upon householders. Brahmacharis, vanaprasthis and sannyasis. They have to depend upon the householders, because the householders are the only one, and those who are not in renounced order. So even the householders can offer their lives to Krishna, and the way to do it, the householder should see that his house belongs to Krishna and he makes it into Krishna's temple, he considers Krishna's temple. His family members are Krishna's maidservants and servants, and in this way he should see that his whole family is actually Krishna's family, and by maintaining them, by taking care of them, they are rendering service to Krishna. Sudeshna Priya Devi Dasi from Manchester. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Guru Maharaj, you mentioned in yesterday's class that the lockdown will be over in 12 days. I want that lockdown never ends and we get your online association like this always. The best thing about lockdown is that I can chant with you when you are online. Thank you for showering mercy on us. Please forgive me if I said anything wrong. No, Sudeshna Priya, it was very nice that when I am chanting here at 6 o'clock, it is 1:30 in Manchester. So you're getting up at 1:30 and chanting with us. That's very nice. But lockdown, did you consult with your husband that you want the lockdown to continue forever? Then what will happen to his business? And so better the lockdown. But the thing is that the lessons that you learnt, continue and nicely, read Prabhupada's books, utilizing your time in more Krishna conscious way, which you didn't do before, most probably. Most of us didn't. And don't worry, even if I go back to America, even after lockdown, I will continue to chant with you all and give the class on Uddhava Gita, at least for some time. So next question is from Chidvinod Das from Mauritius. Garuda is the carrier of Lord Vishnu, but he is not a vegetarian. Yes, that's true. He is very fond of eating snakes. So that shows that some animals and birds can be non-vegetarian and serve Krishna. But that doesn't give you the license to become a non-vegetarian and in spite of being a devotee. Human beings' food, you see, the bird's food is snakes and other insects. The birds are by nature, they're non-vegetarian. So that's why it's given to them in that liberty. Just like a lion also is allowed to eat meat and so forth. But a cow doesn't, because by nature, lion is a meat eater. So we human beings are by nature, we are vegetarian. Therefore, we should stick to that nature. And especially Krishna Prasad. Next question also from Chidvinod Das from Mauritius. In the morning when we chant our japa and at the same time we play the japa of Srila Prabhupada, please advise us, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, so that is nice because you are chanting with the feeling that Prabhupada is there chanting with you. Isn't that a wonderful feeling? Now I hope you are not saying that Prabhupada's tape of chanting is disturbing you in your chanting. Don't feel that way. How many more questions we have? One more. Okay, this is the last one? And after that, okay. So this question is from Jharikhand Shevika Dasi, Jivani from South Africa. Okay. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the deeply inspiring class entwined with spiritual grace. Maharaj, thank you so much for sharing the wonderful instruction that Srila Prabhupada gave you of giving this one life to Krishna. I was wondering, for a devotee like myself in a female body, can one also follow in the footsteps of this mood of one life to Krishna? Please may you elaborate, Maharaj. So, Jharikhand Shevika, I will ask you to consult with your mother and see what she says, because in this kind of situation, she is your best guide. If you ask me, then my simple answer will be like, yes, it is difficult for a woman to remain, offer. But now the women are also striding side by side with men. Therefore, I don't see why a woman also cannot dedicate her life to Krishna. But this is a very sensitive area, that's why I didn't want to interfere with your mother's plan and your father's plan. So that's why I asked you to ask them. And as I said, for an intelligent, capable girl like you, I think you can take care of yourself. And if you don't want to get married, at least I don't see any harm in that. Because again, as I told, it applies to all actually. To be encumbered with children and family responsibility and everything. So, Prabhupada actually said that also, I have one problem that I haven't been able to solve. The problem Prabhupada mentioned is that he wanted all his boys to remain brahmacharis and all his girls to get married. And that's a problem he couldn't solve. So anyway, I would say, play it by ear. So next question is from Garima. Do you all remember her? Okay, so Garima, you wrote this question or you took your mother's help? So Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Garima. I miss you and Bhakti Prem Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I sing Kirtan every night at 9 p.m. and turn on the Ujjain channel at Mayapur TV and sing Kirtan with harmonium for their pleasure and mentally put them to sleep. My question is, why Nrsimhadev is the highest of all avatars? When Krishna is the supreme, why we ask for protection to Nrsimhadev and not other avatars when other avatars are also same as Krishna? Please enlighten. Thank you very much, Garima, for this very nice question. A little introduction about Garima, since many of you may not know her. She is a 8 or 9-year-old girl. She is from Atlanta. She came to Ujjain with her mother. Her mother came here for some Ayurvedic treatment, and they got stuck in the lockdown in Ujjain. And she was really enjoying, as she mentioned, like every night she was singing the prayer to Nrsimhadev and with playing harmonium. So she is saying that. So she is asking why we pray to Nrsimhadev for protection. So you see, good question, Garima, because Krishna, although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the Leela Purushottam. Leela Purushottam means he is simply absorbed in his pastimes. And his pastimes are like, he is simply enjoying with his devotees and he is giving pleasure to the devotees. That is what Krishna is doing. He is simply busy dancing with the gopis and playing with the cowherd boys, and once in a while when the demons come, then Krishna killed them. And the demons came to Vrindavan. But Nrsimhadev, he came to protect Prahlad Maharaj. That is the purpose of Nrsimhadev's coming. So he came to protect Prahlad Maharaj, and therefore Nrsimhadev is here to give protection to his devotees. That's why at the time of difficulties, we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev. And we do not want Nrsimhadev to protect us from difficult or dangerous situation. We actually pray to Sri Nrsimhadev so that he removes the obstacles from the path of our devotion. That is called Bhakti Bighna Vinashan. Bighna means obstacles or impediments. And Nrsimhadev destroys the impediments from the path of devotion, so that our devotional service can be smooth and we can make progress in our spiritual life in a smooth way. Thank you, Garima. And we all, devotees also told me here that they are also missing you very much. So thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
देवे गौरवान्वितचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Vishnupat Paramhangsa Paribrajagacharya Ashtattara Shatashi Srimat Avai Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Kali Yuga Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan ki Ananta Koti Gaur Bhaktivinda ki Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinda ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.